Friday, time to get down, friends. Let's go ahead and talk about today's existential question of the day, which, in case you're new here, every hot news we do an existential question of the day just to get your mind ready for the news that's coming so that you learn to think outside of the box and realize that reality is just completely made up to begin with. So let's go ahead and ask the question, is a hiccup just a reverse cough or an inverted cough? Is it? Probably. You're anti-coughing. Yep. Yep, same thing. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, but also let me know what you think of the first article of the day, which is Nvidia is apparently working on a super secret 5nm chip, which is really weird because the current GPUs that we have on the market are 12 nanometers, and from what we've been hearing behind the scenes, they're tapping Samsung for 10 nanometers instead of switching to TSMC's 7 nanometers, so there's no 7 nanometer Nvidia card out there. This 5 nanometer project that apparently is being worked on has nothing to do with their graphics cards, has nothing to do with Ampere. What are they working on? It's very weird. Obviously, the first customer for TSMC on 5 nanometers is anticipated to be the upcoming iPhone 12 for Apple. So 5 nanometers already ready for TSMC. They're getting up to high volume. But what is this secret 5 nanometer project? A lot of the speculation that I've been reading seem to indicate that it's the SoC that goes for the Tegra, which would mean that the Switch could get a major update, and also their Nvidia Shield TV stuff. I'm gonna posit, what if Nvidia is getting into the mobile phone game? What if? Huh? They don't need to be on 7 nanometers to beat AMD, so they're just staying at 12 and 10 nanometers on Samsung just to compete with AMD because AMD can't even catch up with the node shrink, but they might not be able to catch up to Apple or HiSilicon or Samsung unless they go down to a 5 nanometer node. What if they're making SoCs for mobile phones? Could also be the SoC for the Tegra so that we could get a Nintendo Switch 2, which would be overpowered. The Switch could have new features that haven't even been unlocked on the desktop, like super ray tracing or something like that. I don't know. 5 nanometer super secret project by Nvidia. What is it? No clue, but this also came with a report that TSMC is doing just fine. Their short order supplies for 7 nanometers are through the roof. Customers are trying to order as much 7 nanometers as they possibly can. So even with Voldemort going on, even with, the economy shutting down, TSMC seems to look like it's going to have a pretty stellar first half. But my stellarness ends there. But you know what does go out to the stellar area, the solar system? Radio waves. They transmit out there, and so can your AMD GPU. Apparently, there's researchers who have found a way to violate the security of your Radeon GPU to turn it into a radio transmitter with a 50-foot range. They just modulate the clock frequency on the shader clock on the Radeon card, then it's a radio transmitter, which is ridiculous. The caveat here is that you probably don't really need to worry about this because in order to get that specificity level where you're able to adjust the shader clock, you have to get administrator privileges on the computer in the first place. Like if you're trying to do MSI Afterburner or something like that to overclock your cards, the same idea. You have to either give it permission on install or you have to give it permission every single time it launches. So don't necessarily expect that this is just going to be malware that's floating out there, but it could potentially be malware in an overclocking app that we might see come out at some point in the future, and then you just start rickrolling people with the radio transmitter that you have, or you start receiving rickrolls with the radio.
Whoa, sci-fi.
But we can receive new AMD laptops because Frank Azor, one of the new acquirers over at AMD, who's the chief architecture for gaming solutions there, said that we can expect that Ryzen 4000 laptops are going to have more options soon. The lower end stuff should be coming out like this month, maybe early next month. All of this due to delays because of Voldemort and everything that's going on there. But AMD saying, hold on, we're okay. And Apple saying, hold on, everybody else, we're okay. Fend for yourself, because the new reports coming out of Bloomberg that Apple is going to be putting an A14 chip into their next generation Macs, which means that they will now be ARM-based, moving away from x86. This is gonna make Hackintoshes a lot more difficult. You're gonna have to actually build an ARM-based computer scenario in order to do Hackintoshes. So say goodbye to your Ryzen 3950X Hackintosh. It's not gonna happen anymore if they move on to only supporting things on ARM and not x86 anymore. Apple trying to lock down and proprietize everything. Proprietarize. They're proprietary, which is what Intel does. They're just proprietary all the money because their Q1 earnings reports came out and Voldemort? Their operating income was up 69% from Q1 of last year. On top of having a lot more profit in other areas, they saw data center go up 34% and PC growth go up 14%. So even if AMD might be slapping them in the face, those laptop sales are just too good for them to pass up. Sweet, sweet money. But also in the Q1 earnings call, Intel confirmed that Tiger Lake is confirmed to be a knockoff of Tiger King and going to be launching in mid-2020 still. They're on pace for that. They stole the name from Tiger King. I sent a meme this morning to Reece and the team showing that Tiger King is the Wario to Steve Irwin's Mario. So 10 nanometers Tiger Lake, totally okay. Intel, totally okay. Gigabyte, not okay, because their entire Z490 motherboard lineup has been leaked. You can go to the video cards linked down below and check out all of your favorite Z490 ones that you want. And speaking of leak, but in a worse way, it was leaked that Western Digital, Seagate, and other hard drive manufacturers were using SMR for certain hard drives that shouldn't be used for that, and saying that you can use them in a NAS when it has difficulty rating. Anyways, Western Digital has come out and said, hey, you guys didn't like that, so we fixed it. Their blog post says, the past week has been eventful to say the least. As a team, it was important that we listened carefully and understood your feedback about Western Digital RAD NAS drives. So, you know, now they list what has SMR, what has CMR, so that you know whether or not you're getting a suitable NAS drive if you're going to be putting in a RAID or what you want to do with it. Because before, that didn't need to be disclosed because you're dumb. I don't know if they said that, but I mean, why disclose when you can close? And I'm closing my eyeballs around this set of RAM that's coming out from Thermaltake. It doesn't have RGB, but it's black and silver, and I love it. And in case you've been following my latest dream build, black and silver is the color theme for that. You can check out the latest video that we did on it there. This would fit so well. I am okay with the Trident Z Neos that I have in it because it is still black and silver with RGB, but this Thermaltake Tough RAM does look delicious. What's not delicious is money right now during everything that's going on with Voldemort. Google announcing that they are going to be slashing their marketing budget by half, and they're haltering hirings because of Voldemort going on right now. This is something that has been affecting us here at the UFT Tech channel. Our revenue is down tremendously, even though our views are up 20%. We've had several sponsors pull out. Companies are just halting all of the advertising. So everybody, dire straits. Things are going rough. Google cutting half of its marketing budget. But EK doesn't need to pay me to market their new pumps because they came out with them and they look very cool. The VTX powered kinetic reservoir pump combos, the little itty bitty mini boys, and they're beautiful. Thank you, EK, for making something so beautiful, which some people said about Fortnite's concert last night, which featured Travis Scott. I literally have listened to none of his music. Apparently psycho mode, something like that. I'm a boomer right now. Anyways, that debuted to 12.3 million concurrent viewers, which, if I'm not mistaken, beats the Marshmello concert, which was in the 10 million range. I saw some clips of this and it actually looked pretty cool. It's still really weird that they're doing it in Fortnite and that Fortnite is now a vehicle for like big promotional releases. That bothers me a little bit. Like the fact that there was information for Star Wars Episode 9 in Fortnite that was not in the movie triggers me a little. But you can use your triggers to shoot wild animals in Red Dead Redemption 2 because it's coming to Xbox Game Pass on May 7th. Coincidentally, or maybe not, Grand Theft Auto 5 is leaving Xbox Game Pass on the same date. So maybe Rockstar's just like, you have one. You get one, okay? You've had GTA 5 for a long time, no more. But you know what you don't get one of? Instacart shoppers. You get another 250,000 of them. Instacart saying that they're hiring another 250,000 people to help meet the demand of Instacart. This is on top of a previously reported 300,000 hires that they've already done. Instacart saying that they're trying to be dedicated to getting back to within the next hour or same day delivery service like they had previously, trying to get their service level back to where it was. They've also committed that they're going to be providing personal protective equipment to all of their shoppers. However, there's been some communication out there from the Instacart shoppers that that has not happened. I know several people who have turned to Instacart right now to get jobs, which, I mean, I completely understand. It's an easy way of making money. It does put you in the public, which could potentially hurt your health. So it's a tough call, but Instacart, not all jobs are gone. YouTuber might be. We might be screwed. I'll be an Instacart shopper. If I turn out to be your Instacart shopper and you live in the Gainesville area, please make sure to greet me with lttstore.com. Okay, that's how I know the code name. I got no code names for this next article, which is about the Polestar 2, which is supposed to be a Tesla killer that's coming out from Volvo. Well, the pricing has just been announced for the US version of the Polestar 2, coming in at $60,000, which is $5,000 cheaper than they originally said, so a price decrease is coming. It looks okay. I personally prefer the Model 3 over the looks of this. It looks more like a Volvo than I would like it to. It has a 275 mile range, has 78 kilowatt hour battery, 408 horsepower for that $60,000. And yeah, can't kill my Tesla because it lives in the heart. We all know Elon Musk is an elf who lives in your arteries.
Musk Daddy.
I don't know where that closing statement went, but I'm going to close this episode of Hot News right on out of here. Don't forget about the existential question of the day. Are hiccups just reverse coughs? And if you have an existential question of the day, don't forget to leave it down below in the comments and you could be selected. I will forget your name, but I will say the question out loud. So you get no recognition and I continue to look like an idiot for asking the dumbest questions on the face of the planet. Don't forget to follow us over on Twitch for our daily Hot News live streams. Yeah, that makes sense. Yes, we do that every weekday. Come follow us over there. Join in the fun so we can have discussions about all of this goodness. And that when I'm rambling out of camera right now, it feels a little weird. But when you're chatting to me rambling out of camera, it's just more awkward. Great. Have a good weekend. And potentially have new features that haven't even been unlocked on desktop, like that new features that haven't. They could potentially have new.